Hello, my name is Staff Sergeant Hickman, and I am the Retirement Services Officer for the North Carolina National Guard. Today, we'll be completing the 2 forms required to claim your federal retirement. Before we begin, make sure you have the following documents that will be required to successfully submit your request to Human Resources Command. Your direct deposit information to include the type of account, routing numbers, account number, and the name and address of your banking institution. Proof of VA compensation, if applicable, in the form of a summary letter. This letter will include the amount of your VA compensation pay, your overall rating, and the date you began receiving this pay. NGB Form 23 Delta, also known as the Notice of Eligibility for Retired Pay at Age 60, or 20-year letter. Your separation order. NGB Form 23A or B, your point statement. DD Form 2656-5 or DD Form 1883, your Reserve Component Survivor Benefit Plan election, and a copy of your Social Security card. Remember, if you're sending these via email, it is recommended that you encrypt the contents to secure them. If you are eligible for early retirement under the National Defense Authorization Act of Fiscal Year 2008, you will also need to have a copy of any DD Form 214s that entitle you to early retirement, along with the orders placing you on duty during any such periods of service. For more information, please visit hrc.army.mil and find the Reduced Age Retirement link under Retirement Services, Reserve Component Retirement. If you are missing any of your documentation, please complete a copy of Standard Form 180 and email it to the North Carolina National Guard Archivist, Miss Margot Pope, at margot.p.pope.nfg@mail.mil. If you cannot reach her, call 984-664-6000 and ask for the current archivist. Moving to the first form, let's complete the DD Form 108, a copy of which can be found at the bottom of the Retirement Services webpage. On DD Form 108, you will need to complete Blocks 1 through 8. In the form provided on the Retirement Services page, Blocks 1 and 8 are completed for you. In Block 2, enter your date of birth in year, month, day format. In Block 3, enter the date you are eligible to draw retirement, which will be your 60th birthday, or your retirement pay eligibility date from NGB Form 23A or 23B if you qualify for early retirement. Block 4 is your highest pay grade held in E, O, or W format, followed by your number grade. Block 5 is your last and first names, followed by your middle initial. Skip Block 6A and enter your Social Security number in Block 6B. In Block 7A, enter your home address, and in 7B, enter your telephone number. Finally, sign and date the bottom of the form. You will not need to complete Blocks 9 through 17, as the NGB Form 23 you attach will show the service you completed. This completes DD Form 108. Set this form aside, along with your NGB Form 23A or B. Now, we'll complete DD Form 2656, the current copy being revised in January 2018. Complete Blocks 1 through 5 the same as you did on DD Form 108. Select the branch of service you last served in for Block 6 and select one of the appropriate options in Block 7. In Block 8, if you entered service before September the 8th of 1980, check A in Block 8. Otherwise, choose B, unless you elected to receive a career status bonus in return for reduced retirement, in which case you select C. In Block 9, enter your contact information in A through G. Block 10 begins Section 2 for direct deposit. Complete all blocks from 10 through 13. Section 3 pertains to separation pay. In most instances, if you receive separation pay, it must be repaid before you can receive retirement or VA disability compensation pay. If you are unsure if you received separation pay, check the remarks section of your DD Form 214 or NGB Form 22. Complete Block 14 as appropriate. Section 4 is about VA disability. If you're in receipt of VA disability compensation, it will have an effect on your federal retirement, depending on your overall rating. For example, If your federal retirement is $1,000, VA compensation is $500, and your overall rating is 50% or higher, you will receive both your federal retirement and VA compensation under Concurrent Retired and Disability Pay, or CRDP, for a total of $1,500. If your federal retirement is $1,000, VA compensation is $500, and your overall rating is less than 50%, your federal retirement will be reduced by the amount of your VA compensation. Gross retired pay in this scenario would be $1,000 as a combination of both types of pay, with only the remaining $500 from federal being taxable. You may still be eligible to unlock all or a portion of the waived pay if you are eligible for Combat-Related Special Compensation, or CRSC. For more information on CRSC, visit dfas.mil/retired-military/CRSC.html. Acknowledging this information, read and check Block 15A if you agree. Then answer 15B through 15D as applicable. Section 5 applies to beneficiaries for unpaid retired pay. In the event of your passing, the person or persons designated in this section will receive a prorated amount of pay based on the current pay cycle. Listing someone in Blocks 16A through E entitles them to all or a share of these prorated funds. Alternatively, checking the box above Block 16 will designate your spouse as the recipient. Be aware that leaving this section blank will delay payment of these funds after your passing. Section 6 pertains to federal income tax. Unless specifically exempted under the conditions of exclusion in Sections 3A through 3D of IRS Publication 525, titled Military and Government Disability Pensions, select the appropriate options for Blocks 17 through 21. Section 7 pertains to state income tax. If you have completed at least 5 years of creditable service before August the 12th of 1989, the North Carolina Department of Revenue exempts you from paying state taxes on your retirement under a provision called the Bailey Settlement. If this applies to you and you pay taxes in North Carolina, select NC in Block 22 and enter Bailey Settlement in Block 24A. Otherwise, complete Blocks 22 through 24D as appropriate. For Block 23, North Carolina's current tax rate at the time of this video's production is 5.499%. If you are completing a digital copy of DD Form 2656 and selected options A, B, or C in Block 8, you will not see Section 8 as displayed here. Unless you entered service after January 1st of 2018 or opted into the blended retirement system, skip this section. In Section 9, you will list your spouse and dependents as indicated in Blocks 29 through 32E. For the purposes of the Survivor Benefit Plan, a dependent is your spouse or any child of yours below the age of 18, 22 if they are a full-time college student, or if they are fully disabled and in your care. In Section 10, you will list your current coverage under the Reserve Component Survivor Benefit Plan in Block 33. At this time, locate your previously completed DD Form 2656-5 or DD Form 1883. On the form you have, if you elected Option B for coverage beginning at age 60, or Option C for immediate coverage, mark the appropriate box in Block 33 and move on to Block 38 if you have a former spouse to list. Otherwise, proceed to Section 11. If you did not make an election on DD Form 2656-5 or DD Form 1883 within 90 days after receiving your 20-year letter, you are automatically elected under Option C for all current dependents, unless previously directed by court order to elect your former spouse. Finally, if you had previously deferred your election until age 60, you will make an election in Blocks 34 and 35. In Block 34, select the beneficiary who is to receive 55% of an amount you will elect, which may be as little as $300 or up to the full gross amount of your retired pay. A full listing of costs for the Survivor Benefit Plan can be found on dfas.mil, but Simplified costs for each election follow. 34A. Coverage for spouse costs are at most 6.5% of the elected amount. 34B. Coverage for spouse and children is the same as spouse coverage, plus a few cents depending on the age of the child covered. 34C. Coverage for children is based on the age of the child, but is no more than a few dollars each month. 34D. Insurable interest coverage is an uncommon selection, but in the interest of completeness, here are the details. Cost is calculated at a minimum of 10% of the elected amount, plus 5% for every 5 years of difference between the ages of the retired soldier and the beneficiary. This cost cannot exceed 40% of the elected amount, and if selected, you must complete Block 37. 34E. Former spouse coverage is normally deemed by court decree and costs the same as spouse coverage. If this option is selected, complete DD Form 2656-1 as well. 34F. Former spouse and children coverage covers the spouse and children of that marriage alone and costs the same as spouse and children. 34G. No coverage under SBP incurs no cost. Proceed to Block 38 if necessary. In Block 35, if an election was made in Blocks 34A through F, you can elect that the SBP annuity and cost be calculated on your full gross retired pay amount by selecting 35A, a reduced amount of your choice by selecting 35B, an amount calculated on the reduced retired pay you'll receive if you elected to take a career status bonus, or the threshold amount adjusted by cost of living amounts set at $822 as of January 1st, 2018. Blocks 36 and 37 must be completed if a special needs trust or insurable interest beneficiary were selected. In Block 38, enter any former spouse information that is pertinent to your retirement. If none exists, proceed to Block 39. In Section 11, Block 39 is to be signed after the rest of the form is complete, and only in front of a witness. If your witness is a National Guard soldier or Veteran Services officer, then have them email the completed packet to the RSO listed on the Retirement Services page. Section 12 is only required if you are married and made any election other than coverage for your spouse in Block 34. Block 41 must be completed and signed to show that your spouse concurs with your decision not to cover them, and they must sign in front of a notary, who will complete Block 42. After the DD Form 2656 is completed, send it to the Retirement Services Office using the information provided on the Retirement Services page via email or post. With it, send the following supporting documents in this order: DD Form 108, NGB Form 23A or B, DD Form 2656, DD Form 2656-5 or DD Form 1883, NGB Form 23D, which is the Notice of Eligibility for Retired Pay at age 60, your separation order, and evidence of your VA compensation, if applicable. After your packet has been received, reviewed, and submitted to Human Resources Command in Kentucky, it can take up to 45 days for them to process it, provided it was received prior to your retired pay eligibility date. Then, it is forwarded to DFAS, who can take up to 60 days to process and send you your retired pay. Once HRC has processed your packet and forwarded it to DFAS, you will receive a letter and order transferring you to the retired list. Make an appointment at your nearest ID card facility and bring this order, along with 2 forms of ID and your NGB Form 22 to receive your retired ID. After receiving your retired ID, call TRICARE's East Region contractor, Humana Military, to inquire about healthcare coverage. You may also be eligible for dental coverage through Delta Dental. Finally, once you are covered under Medicare Part B at age 65, your TRICARE coverage becomes TRICARE for life, and the only costs you'll incur will be those you make monthly to Medicare. At this time, we have covered the federal retirement process, and if you have any questions, please reach out to one of the numbers listed here or to the Retirement Services Office. Thank you for watching, and as always, thank you for your service.